Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you excited to be here today? Come on, I said, are you excited to be here today? I'm immensely excited to be a part, and let me first of all extend my high honor to the president of this great organization and to the board members, as well as to Reverend Kirkwood, who has extended this invitation to me for me to come and share with you. And let me give the biggest shout out to all of you. This is your day. And we're here because you all are the smartest, the coolest, and the swaggiest people to graduate right now. And in case you ever need to back that up, you can look at the fact that you packed out a whole room full of people to come check you out and cheer you on. And that says something how awesome you are. For the next few fleeting moments, I just want to share some words from my experience of things that I've learned to hopefully encourage you for something that you need to do going forward. Something that I've learned because it's something that I had to do and am currently doing as I go forward. I'm a current senior at USC. In about 3 weeks, I'll cross the stage with my degree in communication from the University of Southern California. Right on, I see some trophies in the room. And for me, although this time has flown by, I remember elementary, middle school, and high school like it was yesterday. And fam, let me tell you all, there's a whole lot of stuff I didn't really like about me when I was in elementary, middle, and high school. Let's start with the first thing. I like this podium because it's height proportioned to me. I can roll with this. When I was coming up, the very first thing I really didn't like, I didn't like how short I was. And when I would go to speak and preach different places, people had to literally sit me on carts or steps or other really random objects just so that I could be seen above the podium. I never really liked my height. I was always give or take with some of my facial features because I never thought I was cute. And people go, oh, well, Princeton, how did you feel that way? Because it was confirmed in the way girls described me. It was. I'll give you a great example. They would come to me and they would say, oh, Princeton, you're so adorable. And then when Trey would walk by, they would be like, oh, girl, Trey is fun. Adorable, but Trey was fun. I was like, why can't my adjective last for 4 seconds? I didn't really like how I looked. I didn't really like how different I was sometimes because when I was growing up, I always knew more about Dr. King than I did Dr. Dre. I always preferred a pair of cufflinks over a pair of Jordans. I would rather talk about a book than to spit rhymes with you. Now, I had bars, don't get me wrong, but that's not what I preferred. And so I didn't really like being different. But can I tell you what I always loved about me? Can I tell you? I don't do this too often. I don't go in like this about me. But can I tell you what I loved about me? I loved my name. Man, you call me short. You say I wasn't cute. Wasn't athletic. Everybody used to beat me, and whatever team got me when we were playing sports, they thought they had been cheated against. They thought the game was set up against them. Oh, why we gotta have Princeton? You could say I couldn't ball. You could say I wasn't cool. You could say I didn't know what was going on. You could say I was out. You could say I was irrelevant. You could say that I was a nerd. You could say that I was boring. But you could not say near nothing. Please excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm here at College Bound. You could not say anything about my name. And I think my mom had a lot to do with this, because first of all, she's the one who selected my name. She's here with me today, Dr. Simone Starr Parker, and I was appreciative that she picked it. And not just that she picked my name, but I really feel like she socialized me into this belief, because when I was growing up, my name was on everything. I had hats with my name on it. My name was on the bag. I had sweaters with my name on it. My name was just everywhere. So there are certain things things your parents do that they and even you think are going to go away as you get older? Tell me why when I was in high school I had a briefcase with my name on it that I went and got because I loved it that much. And so all I want to share with you is that for the rest of your life, as you transition from this experience, as you go into the next phase of your educational journey, and more importantly, as you go into the next phase of your personal journey, I came to give you an instruction that only includes 3 words. It doesn't matter what people say about you. It doesn't matter what you go through. It doesn't matter how difficult it gets. Your one responsibility is to write your name. Write your name. The name symbolizes an identity. The name symbolizes that you're not a nothing. You're not a placeholder. But your name means that you have a very specific and succinct spot in this world and in this moment. Your name means that with you comes a purpose and a responsibility. Your name means that people cannot look over you and treat you any kind of way, because your name humanizes you and says that because you have a name, you have been marked to say that the same blood that runs through the rest of this nation and the rest of this world runs through you, so nobody can treat you less than, because your name says that you are somebody. Your name says that you have a point of origin. You didn't just spring up to exist today, but your name suggests that you started from somewhere. And if you started from somewhere, that means that if you will grab hold of your name, you can be headed somewhere. The same way that I fell in love with seeing my name on everything I had around me, I want you to fall in love with seeing your name on something bigger than you. And all I want to do today is I want to encourage you to write your name and to tell you how you're going to do it. In order to write your name, we all know this, the first thing, you have to have something to write with. May I encourage you that the reason why College Bound is so important is because education is the best thing we got to write our name. This is why for centuries upon end, those that came before us died so that we could have this opportunity. Because they understood that we could argue as much as we wanted for the sake of our humanity. We could argue as much as we wanted for our validation as citizens and as people who have a place and a belonging in this nation. But if we were not educated, we could never prove that validation. If we could not write it, if we could not speak it, if we could not communicate it, then they might be able to say that we counted, but then we wouldn't be able to sit at the table where they are counting people in this nation. That's why we need education. Because it's not enough for us to be in the room. We have to be at the table. And it's not enough for us to be at the table. We have to have a voice at the table saying this is what our community needs. And if we don't have education, we don't have anything to write with. But more than your education, I'd like to submit to you today that your writing device is different than mine. Education is the ink, education is the lead, but the instrument itself is quite different. You decide what instrument you write with. In other words, I'm asking you, what is your gift? Mr. Steve Harvey says that your gift is the thing you do best with the least amount of effort. So what are you going to write with? Because if we live under the influence of a society that encourages us to write with anything, then we will think that the only ways that we can write our name are through sex. That the only way we can write our name is with a gun. The only way we can write our name is by barring or rapping. The only way that we can that we can sign or write our name is if we're on the court. I want you to expand your vision to think about what has God given you to write with. is, you can't write until you tap into that thing. You can't write without the poetry. You cannot write your name without the business plan. You cannot write your name without your voice. You cannot write your name without your talent. So whatever it is, get your writing utensil in hand. 1, you must have something to write with. 2, you must figure out, what do you want to write on? I loved it because my mom put my name on a beanie, but I wanted to see my name on a bag. Now I want to see my name on a car. I'm about to graduate. Come on. One day I want to see my name as being the pastor of a church. One day I want to see my name as a loving husband. One day I want to see my name as somebody who motivated millions of different cultures but still remained true to lifting up the African American narrative within the context of the American narrative at the same time. That's the way I want to see my name. So when you look around you, what are you looking at that you say, my name needs to be right there? What Grammy does your name need to be on? What front page of a magazine does your name need to be on? What office? Law, doctor's office, an attorney's office, office of a psychologist. What office does your name need to be on? What community does your name need to be on? So that whenever we see your name, we know that you helped a very specific cause, a group of people. All I want you to do is close your eyes and look around you and understand not just that you have something to write with, but you must be very intentional about the place wherein you want to write. Because whatever you want to write on is going to determine the type of decisions you make. That's why when you get to college, you can't live like everybody else lives. That's what's going to determine your study habits. That's what's going to determine who you hang around. That's what's going to determine the kind of dreams that you have. That is what's going to determine who you listen to and who you tune out. Because everything will be determined by the fact that you're not trying to write on X, Y, and Z. You're trying to write on that. And if it doesn't help you write on that, then you can't entertain it. Don't be discouraged if what you want to write on seems far away. Because you know you're dreaming properly when your dream seems way out of reach. Because that means that it requires an arm bigger than yours to get it. And your arm is going to stretch in the process. So you must have something to write with. You have to know what you want to write on. And then you must know what you want your name to mean. I realized that though I had been speaking since H2, when I got to high school, I learned, friends, that Princeton, the speaker, was different and wasn't the totality of Princeton, the person. I say it this way, that my gift is me, but I am not my gift. So I had to learn that just because I knew what I was going to write with, didn't mean that my name had value. Because my name was determined by the character I walked with, not by the skill of what I wrote with. So what do you want your name to mean? When people see your name, what kind of attributes? What kind of ideas? What kind of stories? What kind of places? What kind of imaginations do you want people to associate your name with? When you think about what you want your name to mean, then you can make better choices. Then you can keep yourself siloed until you get all the way there. You got to have something to write with. You got to know what you want to write on. And you have to know what you want your name to mean. But the last thing that I'm leaving is that you must know why you're writing your name. Because it's going to get hard. It's always been hard for me. Fitting in, knowing that I was different, trying to impress people who were never going to like me, understanding who I was apart from the fact that I was a speaker, trying to grow, getting to college, going, what is this big place? Going to USC in January instead of in August, so I didn't know anyone once I got there, hadn't met anybody. The classes were hard, people from all over the world. I used to think I was smart and people started saying words I had never heard. And I always wondered, what is this like? Maybe it's too big for me. Maybe I should give up. Maybe I should just be what everyone else wants me to be. But what kept me going is that I knew that I wasn't just writing my name on something, but I knew why I was writing. And everything that you've been through up until this point has helped you create your why. Every person who mistreated you, every time you had it hard in school, every test you failed and every test you aced, everything that you've come through, every person you've met, every connection, every person who has spoken into your life or told you were nothing, all of those people and things come together to create your why. And when you have a strong why, nothing will stop you, because the duration of your endurance is determined by the depth of your why. Class of 2015, it's time for your name. And it's time for your name, not just because you're cool, not just because you're on stage, not just because you're graduating, not just because there's a guy in the suit who wants to say nice things to you. It's time for your name because it's more than your name. When your name gets there, when your name is written on whatever you want it to be, there are hundreds and thousands of other names that may not be written next to yours, but when we read yours, we see them. So when your name gets there, we see your mom's name. When your name gets there, we see your dad's name. When your name gets there, we see your brothers and your sisters and your cousins. When your name gets there, we see your city's name. When your name gets written there, we see Compton, Watts, Inglewood, all the way to the IE and other states. When your name gets there, we see the names of African Americans who were lynched, whose names never make it to the history book. When your name gets written, we see Trayvon's name. We see Eric's name. We see Ezel Ford's name. We see Oscar Grant's name. When your name gets there, we see our community's name. But most of all, when your name gets there, we see the name that's above every name. That's why you can't stop, because it's bigger than you. The same name that produced your origin is the name that wants you to make it. So you can't give up, because it's more than your name. I'm going after this. But you have to understand that your potential is out of this world. Don't you let anybody stop you. Don't you let anybody tell you who you are and what you can do, because they didn't give you your name, God did. All I stop by to do is say, I know the names of a whole lot of people, but I'm excited about your name. I know Nate Jameson, but I want Michaela's name. I know Maya Angelou, but I want Asoki's name. I know Daniel Hill Williams, but I want Christina's name. I know Oprah, but I want Sydney's name. I know Dr. Ian Smith, but I want Kiara's name. I know Cicely Tyson, but I want Jordan's name. I know Karen Bass, but I want Tiara's name. I know Dr. Ben Carson, but I want Chandler's name. I know Dr. Oz, but I want Ojimdi's name. I know Avi DuVernay, but I want Kylie's name. I know Bill Gates, but I want Brianna's name. I know Shonda Rhimes, but I want Michaela's name. I want Ashley's name. I want Kayla's name. I want Isaiah's name. I want Kalani's name. I want Alan's name. I want Jelani's name. I want Ani's name. I want Miguel's name. I want Ella Wofimi's name. I want Corey's name. I want Damon's name. I want Gloria's name. I want Serena's name. And I want Janelle's name.